All right, folks, you guys have decided that you want to see the trailer for the Tucker Carlson documentary, which is called The End of Men. Which I'm sure is like a really interesting and thought-provoking look at masculinity and the different ways it manifests and the different problems that are facing men in our country and around the world, and definitely not just like talking about how tough times make hard men, easy time who make easy times who make soft men, or whatever. However that fascist saying goes. I'm sure it's not that. I'm sure it's like really thoughtful, nuanced, talking about how men can better themselves and how we as a society can help men better than we do now. I haven't seen it. I am pretty sure, though, that everything I said was incorrect. All right. Here we fucking go.
I welcome this opportunity to speak to the people of America
the original
about a subject which I believe to be most important,
JFK,
and that is the subject of physical fitness.
Wait. Wait. Is this literally going to be like, men these days are all soy boys, but back in the day we had big muscles and throbbing erections? Is that what this is actually gonna be? Is that what this is actually gonna be, chat? I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Oh my god, I called it.
A country is as strong really as its citizens, and I think that mental and physical health go hand in hand.
Oh my god.
There's nothing, I think, more unfortunate than to have soft, chubby, fat-looking children. I hope that all of you will join, and everybody in the United States, to make sure that our children participate fully in a vigorous and adventurous life, which is possible for them in this very rich country of ours.
There's been a 50% decline in sperm counts in the last 40 years, along
wait, I'm sorry, did they get the Crypt Keeper to narrate this?
with a precipitous decline in testosterone production. We're headed for a calamity, and that's not hyperbole, it's not exaggeration, it's just a mathematical fact.
Yeah, this is the guy you want to listen to when you're learning about physical fitness. This guy looks like he's gonna die in like 5 minutes, and he sounds like he's gonna die in 2 minutes.
Would you recommend young men to tan their balls?
To what?
What? Metal Kitty Mom, thank you for subscribing. What? The fuck? I mean, this is from Tucker Carlson. So Tucker Carlson signed up on this, signed off on this. Huh, okay. That man has no face. Listen, okay, we're not ableist here. We don't make fun of people without faces. Just so no, this is not parody. This is a Tucker Carlson documentary called The End of Men that will be coming out in the near future.
Once a society collapses, then you're in hard times. Well,
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Chat!
once a society collapses, then you're
Is this the fucking golden one? Chat, is that the fucking golden one? No, that can't be him, right? There's no way. But like, it looks like the golden one. He's got the hair, he's got the face. His physique is a little bit worse than I remember, but like, he's got big muscles. It's totally him. Oh, for those of you who don't know, the golden one is a neo-Nazi. He's like one of the original YouTube neo-Nazis. This is him, like, I don't know, probably like 10 years ago. No, these are bad pictures. Do we have a picture of him, like, recent? Can I get a recent picture? Timetable. Past year. There's no way he hasn't posted pictures. Okay, this is small though. I need big. Here we go. I mean, he's still not... Oh my god, these are still tiny pictures. I need large. Give me large. Size large. Okay. There we go. There we go. This is the golden one. Okay? Although from this picture, he has also, this is from a long time ago. He has, facial hair now. In the exact same places that this guy would have facial hair. Small dick energy. Well, but here's the thing, right? Golden One has a YouTube channel still. Let's see. I have to look up Golden One Jewish question. Let's see here. Oh shit. Oh wait, here we go. Here he is in 2018. Okay. There he is in the corner. He's gonna be talking here. You know, it might be him. It might be him, folks. Conan the Just asking questions? Oh no. Alright, anyway. Sorry to get really... I got really sidetracked here. I am going to be screenshotting this and asking this on Twitter. However.
We're in
Alright.
hard times. Well, hard iron sharpens iron, as they say, and those hard times inevitably produce men who are tough, men who are resourceful, men who are strong enough to survive. And then they go on to re-establish order, and so the cycle begins again.
It literally ends with a man's ass. Okay. Okay, so I need to watch that again. I do want to watch that again. The ass end, if you will. Boo. It's the end of men. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Also, hello, Metal Kitty Mom. You came into the middle of something incredible there. Twitter, I just looked at the trailer for that Tucker Carlson gay documentary. Is this the golden one? There we go. Boom. Done. Did it. Gonad the Barbarian. Hey, Weird Beards. How you doing? Can't stop, won't stop. That was incredible. Like, for those of you who don't know, the hard times create strong men quote is from like a post-apocalyptic science fiction novel series that literally no one has read. No one gives a shit about it. People just like talk about it as if like, oh yeah, this is a true historical thing. It's not. It's really not. It turns out beating a child doesn't turn that child into a strong person. Turns out growing up in extreme poverty doesn't make you like a great like leader or person. You know, these are things that generally speaking have negative impacts on who you are and your ability to contribute to society. Reminds me of the Liver King. Beating a child makes a parent who thinks beating a child is a good idea. True. See, you don't even have to change the audio to Lady Gaga or something to take the piss out of it. It's already indistinguishable parody. I mean, that's part of the thing, right? Like, conservatives are almost impossible to make fun of. Like, what can I say about that? Like, Tucker Carlson goes on his show like every night and talks about how like gay and trans people are degenerate and like threats to society and really we should just wipe them all out. And then puts together a documentary where it's just it just looks gay. It looks like the kind of thing you would make if you were trying to convince someone that look guys, it's not gay to give your bros blowjobs, okay? Look, it's not gay. Like, just hang out, you're playing video games, you know, Lara Croft comes on screen, you get a stiffy, and bro, I can help you out with that. Look, it's not gay, I'm just helping you out. I'm helping a bro. So, like, Takiti, you are so blessed in your ignorance. I won't even explain it to you. I don't think about it that much, I'm not obsessed meme. Yeah, exactly. The quote is from Those Who Remain by G. Michael Hopf. Yeah, exactly. We went down that rabbit hole a while back. We're just bros who set our our ball tanning machine right, like, facing each other so we can stare into each other's eyes while we tan our balls. Hey, Kevin FM, how you doing? Hard times make erect men. God damn it. Jesus. all I can think of is like a Chuck Tingle novel with like with some kind of play on the hard times quote, like pounded in my butt by the hard times make erect men quote. I don't know, something like that. Fuck it, whatever. Chad, is this dude for real or is this a satire stream? Takiti, go fuck yourself. Hey. He talks trash about the LGBT, but throws together a trailer that looks incredibly gay, which is fine, but the hypocrisy is strong. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a gay-looking documentary. Some of my favorite documentaries are gay. Hard men can make good times, very true. New episodes launch Monday, April 18th. Oh, shit! Wait, can we watch it? Is that a thing we can do? Oh boy. Oh boy. The episode that came out on April 15th was a detransitioner's escape from gender confusion. Lovely. Here, this is all we really need to watch.
I am Helena. I'm 23 years old.
Cool.
When I was about 15, I started using Tumblr. I had an eating disorder since I was pretty young. There was a lot of messages that said, if you feel bad about your body, that means you're trans. I was just going through this period of like,
Yeah, probably why you should go to like a doctor and not take medical advice off Tumblr.
I don't like how I'm treated as a cis person. I don't want to be cis because cis means you're uncool and you're privileged and you're an oppressor and you're bad. And
True.
I don't want to be that. In that way, I was really incentivized to try to figure out a way to make my voice heard in these communities. And obviously I can't change my race. I can't really change my sexuality. So the only thing left was to start playing around with the gender stuff.
What? Wait, what? Wait.
To make my voice heard in these communities. And obviously I can't change my race. I can't really change my sexuality. So the only thing left was to start playing around with the gender stuff.
What? So I'm confused. Ryla, thank you very much for subscribing with Prime. So, like, you're 15, you're on Tumblr, and you're like, okay, I want to change my race so I'm not an oppressor. I want to change my sexuality so I'm not an oppressor. Well, I'll change my gender so I'm not an oppressor. That's not how it works. That's not how any of it works.
So I decided to call myself a demi-girl, which is one of the 40 million genders.
Okay.
And that basically means that I'm mostly a girl, but I'm a little bit not a girl, which is just like, what does that even mean? And then after that, I went to demi-boy. And then after that, I went to gender fluid. And after that, I eventually went to trans boy. But all this took like 2 or 3 years.
So far, I'm not seeing anything wrong with someone being like, I'm gonna play around with my presentation and figure out what my gender identity is. So far, I'm not seeing anything wrong with this.
Of just going through this repetitive cycle of changing this identity and changing it again, and it was just never enough.
Okay.
There was a lot of hopelessness for a long time, a lot of regret. The feeling of regret was intense.
Regret about what? I'm really curious if this person started hormones. Like, did she start like transitioning, like, or is this just like I was a child? I was a kid and I was curious and confused about my gender, and then I thought about it real hard and everything was fine. We don't know, but so far everything here is fine. Oh, wait. Okay. We have an update. We have an update from the Fox News YouTube account. Okay. Let's see.
And you're an oppressor and you're bad, and I don't want to be just like what exactly means trans boy. This for a long time.
It's a moving interview, and there's a lot more of it in the episode. Helena joins us on set now. Helena, thanks so much for coming on. There's something so sad about that. First of all, thank you for speaking up, because your voice does matter, I think, in this conversation. But you felt what every young woman I've ever met felt at a certain age, which is uncomfortable with yourself. And it feels like you were exploited at that moment of weakness.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you said, it's completely normal for not only young girls, but often young boys too, to feel uncomfortable with themselves, uncomfortable with their body. But we have this ideology that is especially prevalent online that says that if you have those feelings, that means you're trans. I mean, there are literally people.
I mean, it can mean that you're trans. It doesn't always mean that you're trans, but it can mean that. Which, by the way, is why people are given puberty blockers to give them time to figure that shit out.
If you don't even like your voice on a recording, that's a sign of gender dysphoria, and you need to go.
Most people hate their voices.
See a medical professional because you're trans.
Talk about taking advantage of people. So
Wait, what? Tucker, what, going, like, A, identifying that you feel uncomfortable with yourself, and B, going to consult with an expert medical professional is irresponsible? Wait, how dare people on the internet say, hey, this is a sign of something that might require, like, professional medical help. You should see a doctor. How dare you go see a doctor? This is so irresponsible to go and see a medical professional.
How do you, and this is all explained in greater depth in the documentary, but how do you feel now at 23 looking back on what happened?
I feel honestly grateful for the experience because it's taught me a lot about the world and about myself, but I really feel afraid for these other young girls like myself who they might not be. I consider myself lucky that I was able to get out of it unscarred really medically, but there's so many.
Okay, yeah. She hasn't gone on hormones. She never did any of that shit. She just was, like, talking with people and, like, fucking wearing a t-shirt. Like, she like wore a t-shirt and a backwards cap once and was like, I identify as a boy. And that's fine. You can do that. But, like, I don't know. Using that as, like, trans people are bad when nothing meaningfully bad happened to you. You didn't have anything irreversible happen to you, etc. This is just I was on Tumblr in like the year 2005 and someone told me I might be trans, and that deserves national news coverage. Why couldn't she just stop at, I'm glad I had the experience and learned a lot about myself from it? Like, why did she have to continue and be like, glad I saved myself? Like, damn. Well, because that's what she's here to say.
Young people who can't say the same, and psychologically as well. I mean, it's just devastating.
Yeah.
To, especially from a young age, be lied to by adults at school and by medical professionals and told that your body is wrong, you need to change it, you need to get hormones, you need to get surgeries. That's devastating for a young person. So
no. If they're trans, then no. It's not devastating. It saves their goddamn lives. Like, this is one of the weird things, right? Like, these people will be like, oh, we can't, like, think about the children. It's so bad for the children to be told about these, that trans people exist. And, like, not Coruscant. Thank you. I appreciate you. Let's see. Is she a TERF or just a conservative? I think she's just a conservative. It doesn't sound like she knows a lot about trans issues. But, like, these people will feign caring about trans kids, or feign caring about kids who think they might be trans. But at the end of the day, what we know from the data is that, like, 99% of people who transition do not regret their transition. Of the 1% who detransition, I'm, like, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, so if I'm off by, like, 1 or 2, don't hold it against me. But if you, of the 1% who do detransition, like, 80% of them are doing so because of social pressure from their friends and family. Or just, like, economic pressure, even. Most people who, in the vast minority of cases, who detransition are detransitioning not because it's best for them. And the thing is, if you actually cared about children, you wouldn't want them to go through a puberty they didn't want to have. Which is what conservatives fearmonger about for trans kids. They what if they go through a puberty that they don't want to have? But they ignore the fact that in 99% of the cases, trans kids would then be forced to go through puberties that they don't want to have. You know? Trans people and conservatives, we agree. Okay? We agree going through the wrong puberty is very bad. And when you have a solution to that problem that is 99% effective, that's a pretty goddamn good and low-risk solution.
Just really concerned for younger girls and boys like I once was, being led down this path. And
I'm just really concerned about these irreversible damages that might be happening to these kids. But not the trans kids. Fuck the trans kids.
Being hurt by it.
It's a failure of male leadership, of adult leadership, and it does seem like some of the steps are medically irreversible.
Absolutely. I mean, there's all sorts of,
But she didn't have medical things done to her. Why bring on someone to talk about the medical issue, like the medical difficulty of detransitioning when like she didn't transition? Yeah, you heard that slip, didn't you, folks? You heard him talking about the need for male leadership. Actually, I was talking about this with my girlfriend over the weekend, but like another part of kind of the rise of Christian fascism that I haven't really talked about is the primacy of masculinity and the primacy of men within this Christian fascism. There is a sizable contingent of evangelicals in the United States who build their entire personal and familial belief structure around patriarchal lines, meaning that within these family groups, within these family units, the dad will literally be set up religiously as the head of the household that talks to God, meaning essentially that in each of these family units that are being pushed by Christian fascists, the father literally has like divine right of kings over their own household, where like if you disagree with dad, you're literally disagreeing with God. Have we talked about the Quiverful movement here before? No, but I know what you're talking about, and also it's not limited to just the Quiverful movement. This is like all over evangelical Christianity. We have talked about how the quivering is full of beans. God damn it. Yeah, remember, folks, these people don't give a shit about kids, okay? This woman does not give a shit about trans kids. This woman does not give a shit about cis kids. She gives a shit about furthering her own her own career, and she gives a shit about making sure that trans kids die. Yeah, exactly, it's me, Natalie Marie. And you know what? It's fine for a 15-year-old, whether like assigned male at birth or female at birth, whatever, to play around with their gender identity. That's fine. That's what kids do.
White House actually just put out a chart yesterday that says that some of these steps are reversible or partially reversible, but that's such an oversimplification of the truth. I mean,
it's not. Puberty blockers have been used on kids, primarily cisgender kids, since the 70s. Okay, like puberty blockers, totally fine, totally reversible. Estradiol, been used on human beings for like 80 goddamn years. We know how it affects the body, it's fine. It does have long-lasting complications, but that's why it's given to children who are like 16 and like have like seen multiple medical professionals about this issue. You know, like, again, the irreversible or very difficult to reverse things are things that are done like after years of consultation.
When you go on a cross-sex hormone, like that's going to give you not just physical
Flower,
changes,
thank you for
but
subscribing.
psychological experiences that you can't just act like they never happened. You can't just take it back.
Yes.
And especially with surgery.
Oh shit.
So I think it's a
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Yes. Okay. We're gonna finish this up real quick here.
you know, a breast implant after a mastectomy is not the same thing as never having your breast taken off in the first place. So there's a lot of young women who are going through that, who had a double mastectomy at 16, 17, 18 years old, or even younger.
No, kids aren't getting mastectomies at 16 or 17 years old. Maybe 18. They're not getting them at like 15 or 14. Jesus.
That happens, who, you know, there's nothing you can really do to put that feeling of oneness and safety in your body back.
It's heartbreaking. I hope people are hearing you with open minds, with tolerance. Are they?
There's a lot of people out there, especially parents, who are really thankful for what I'm saying, because they see that their young girl or their young boy is going through this, and the school is telling them, you need to affirm them, they're trans, you need to transition them. All their doctors are telling them you need to transition them. And these parents, they know.
Damn, those goddamn doctors who work against the best interests of their patients for some reason. It's definitely not because they're backed by decades of medical science.
That their child should not be having these cosmetic procedures. So there's a lot of parents who are really thankful. There are other young people who are really thankful that I'm saying what I'm saying, but obviously, you know, you have the trans activists and the trans community that exhibits some very unhealthy kind of cult-like dynamics who are really upset about this.
Man, you are so articulate and thoughtful at 23. It's remarkable.
Thank you.
People who have suffered like you have sometimes get deeper.
Yeah.
How the fuck is this woman suffered, chat? She wore a t-shirt once and was like, I'm a trans boy. How is that suffering? Oh no, you took a selfie and identified as a trans boy on the internet. The horror. How did you even escape alive?
You learn a lot. Like I said, I learned a lot.
Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. You're gonna hear.
So what do I mean by the rise, Good Hunter? So one of the issues is that Christianity largely was not politicized in the United States, at least in the modern conception of our politics. Prior to the implementation of the Southern Strategy, which was implemented after the defeat of conservatives on the issue of segregation. And what happened was essentially political leaders and political campaign officials reached out to televangelists and prominent evangelicals and basically got them on board with a large-scale campaign on the subject of abortion, which politicized the entire issue of abortion, which previously, up until like the 1970s, evangelicals had not had a political stance and largely stayed out of politics. So when we're talking about the rise of Christian fascism, what we're seeing is the maturing of the relationship between Christian evangelicals and the conservative political apparatus. What we're seeing is the culmination of decades, almost 50 years of this cooperation in what became known as the Southern Strategy, which was specifically to politicize abortion, to bring the white rural evangelicals into the conservative movement and keep them there, keep them riled up, keep them angry, keep them politically active. Because that was seen as an effective political strategy following the defeat of segregation. Specifically, the bridge that connected the two was that a lot of white students were being put into private schools, private religious schools, that were segregated, segregated along racial lines on purpose to loophole through desegregation in the United States. So when those schools started getting forced to abandon their racist policies by the state, that was seen as an attack on freedom of religion by these evangelical communities, which opened the door to further political maneuvering by conservatives. So, yeah. Obviously, chat, I know that I just skimmed over a whole lot. I'm sorry that I didn't go on a 1-hour talk about the intricacies of the party switch and the Southern strategy and all that shit. But I feel like I've done that a lot. So I gave you a very summarized version of events to explain how we are now seeing the rise of Christian fascism. Because what we've seen before is a rise of Christian nationalism, a rise of the political consciousness of rural evangelicals. But what we're seeing now is the kind of the final form of this political coalition. So it is, and it's something that you can actually see in these Tucker Carlson clips, because I explained to you, right, how the primacy of men, the primacy of the patriarch, was and is a very integral way of understanding how family dynamics are supposed to work, how gender dynamics are supposed to work, right? So you can see now how the gender dynamics are related to trans people being a very large issue to conservatives. You know, this is one of the reasons why trans people are such an effective lightning rod for hatred from conservative communities. So we saw that in the End of Men documentary trailer, and we're also seeing it here. And you might think, well, that's just where it ends, right? I mean, like, what else could there be? Well, I just did a quick Google on this Helena Kirshner, and the most this is one of the top results that came up, which is her attending essentially a religious conference and being interviewed about her story of detransitioning. And you can actually see that she describes it here as rapid onset gender dysphoria. I'll explain where that term comes from in a minute. It's typically known as ROGD, R-O-G-D. But know that she is closely affiliated with the conservative Christian movement in the United States. She's made this tour already. This is from over a year ago. Yes, semi-knifey duck, rapid onset gender dysphoria is bullshit. I guess I can explain that real quick. This is only a 2-minute clip. I'll explain it after the clip.
So I think it's a shame that rapid onset, this idea of rapid onset gender dysphoria is so controversial, because the first time I looked at this study, this was after I'd already detransitioned, meaning that I stopped my trans identity. I actually thought that it really resembled everything that the study found, like the high rates of depression, anxiety, self-harm. I found that really reflected my experience and the experience of so many young people that I'd known both in high school and in college. So I think it's very accurate. And when I look back on myself as a child, I wasn't really a tomboy. I didn't have any gender dysphoria as a child. I looked forward to wearing dresses. I liked getting little makeup kits for Christmas and stuff. So there was no real indication that I would ever grow up to identify as trans or want to become a boy. And it all happened very, very rapidly around the time I was 15. And when I look back on that, I see the roots in me joining online communities, particularly Tumblr, and kind of distancing myself from friends in real life and peers in real life, and just kind of getting really embroiled in this community online where everything was about social justice, everything was about gender all the time. And there was these hierarchical ways of looking at people. Like, it was bad to be a cis not trans, straight white girl. And that's what I was. I was a straight white girl. And I felt that that was very bad at the time, being in these communities. So eventually that, combined with my mental health issues, I had a lot of body image issues. I was very socially self-conscious. That all kind of combined together and resulted in me originally identifying as non-binary, but over the course of a few years, it kind of just snowballed into full-on trans.
Damn, it snowballed into full-on trans, huh? Oh, here.
I want to just...
Let's see what they think about suicidality in trans people. Notice how this was a full minute shorter than the previous clip.
briefly talk about something really sensitive, suicidality. Suicidality often comes up in the trans conversation, and I often hear parents of trans kids maybe be told, do you want an alive son or a dead daughter? Meaning either your child will most likely or very likely commit suicide, or they need to transition. So those are your two options. What do you think about that statement?
So as we've said, in this population, these young people who are identifying as trans, there's a lot of comorbid mental health issues. There's a lot of depression, anxiety, self-harm, OCD, eating disorders.
True, but even if you account for all of that, even if you treat all of those things perfectly to the point where they are no longer accurate, refusing to give trans kids the medical treatment that they need and the affirmation that they need leads to an exponentially increased rate of suicidality.
And so I think that we should treat these young people the same way we would treat any other young person who struggles.
Oh, cool. Good. We agree. You think that they should receive medical, professional help. That's great. We agree. Except that you think that doctors are in on a gigantic conspiracy to trans children, which is insane.
Struggling with mental health issues, we should be caring and loving to them, and we should get them help, and we should pay attention to the root causes of why they're feeling the way that they're feeling. And I don't think that, potentially causing an endocrine disorder by giving someone cross-sex hormones or...
Damn. Good thing that endocrinologists are consulted and usually handling transition care. Damn. Usually, if only someone who is an expert in the endocrine system was handling transitional care for trans people. Except that's exactly how it works.
Or potentially surgically altering healthy body parts is an appropriate way to respond to someone who's having mental health issues. I think that they deserve there's a lot more personalized, specific, loving care.
So here's a really interesting thing, right? The study that she's referencing is a really famous one if you're in, like, if you've been involved in, like, the trans community at all. When people are talking about rapid onset gender dysphoria, it generally comes from a 2018 paper published in the journal PLOS1 from professors at Brown University, okay? Now, Brown had to basically release several different statements, essentially apologizing for this research ever being published in the first place. Yeah, it's bad. It's just bad research. So initially, when the paper was published, it was about, the study of adolescents and young adults who show signs of rapid onset gender dysphoria. And it coined the term, right? Well, it turns out that a bunch of people actually bothered to read the study. And it turns out that the study itself was not actually on trans kids or the phenomenon of rapid onset gender dysphoria. Rather, it was on parents who perceived their kids to have rapid onset gender dysphoria. And not only that, but the research pool of parents was taken explicitly from TERF websites, parenting forums that are built around hating your own trans kids. It is a shockingly bad paper that had to be renamed to Parent Reports of Adolescents and Young Adults Perceived to Show Signs of Rapid Onset of Gender Dysphoria, which is a lot different because, yeah, kids, especially teenagers, don't always tell their parents exactly how they're feeling, especially if they know their parents aren't going to be supportive, which the pool of parents that they pulled all of their data from was not supportive. So it was a bunch of bigoted parents who hate their trans kids, and their perception of, yeah, just one day my kid was trans, and not an actual study of the kids themselves. And people, specifically a lot of bad faith actors on the right, or dumb fucks on the right, who don't actually bother to read the study, have been going around for years now. The correction came out in 2019. For 3 years now, they've been going around saying that rapid onset gender dysphoria is a thing. And Tucker Carlson is mainlining that right into the largest conservative audience in the United States, uncritically. And of course he's doing that because he agrees with the premise. He agrees that trans people should not exist, and therefore he's willing to push rhetoric that will, and I need to stress this, will get trans kids killed. Hey, Lefty Angler. And this is why, by the way, this actually provides a really nice transition. This is why, by the way, I made a tweet thread about this the other day. Okay? Kind of diagnosing the current state of US politics. And we're going to go through it real quick. Shouldn't take very long. But essentially, you might have been noticing recently the massive uptick in conservatives, especially, accusing LGBTQ people of being groomers. Okay? There's a reason for this, right? Because it plays into the aforementioned Christian fascist movement. It plays into that really nicely. Trans people are a threat to patriarchal religious views. Trans people are a threat to the concepts that conservatives have about what masculinity and femininity are. And therefore, trans people must be expunged. They must be destroyed. Which is why you now have this rise of rhetoric, right? That is motivated by the evangelical movement, but it's not just the evangelical movement in the United States, okay? So we'll get into this more, but basically the entire basis of accusing your political enemies without evidence of being pedophiles and groomers is to incite violence against them. It's called stochastic terror. The entire premise and point of this type of rhetoric is to incite the most radical members of your political movement to attack that group of people. And this is done for a couple of reasons, right? One, it's because you don't actually give a shit about what happens to trans people and you're okay with them dying, right? Let's see. Sneaks away. No, you're thinking of the right study. They didn't retract the study, though. The study was renamed and corrected to what it actually studied, which was bigoted parents reacting to their kids coming out as trans and saying, oh no, they just came out as trans very suddenly, which tells us really nothing about the trans kids. Yes, you did miss here. So you have this entire movement that is essentially predicated on making trans people especially, but LGBT people broadly, as groomers who want to get their hooks in children and essentially raise these kids so that they can be sexually predated on. That is essentially the idea. It is why conservatives don't want gay people to be able to adopt kids. It's because they fearmonger about kids being molested by gay people, even though the vast majority of child sexual abuse happens at the hands of family members, and most of those family members are straight, and most of them are men. Anyway, let's see here. Anyway, we have a lot more details here. So, basically, right. So you have the violent aspect, but that's not really the main reason they're doing it. They're doing it for a couple of reasons. One, conservative media does it because it gets clicks, because it's so shocking. Two, conservative politicians do it because it engages their core voter base. If you think that the very concept of men and women is under attack, and that is core to your understanding of the world and your place in it, yeah, a lot of conservatives are going to turn up to vote against trans people. And that is fundamentally what conservatives care about. They don't really care about trans people dying. They don't care about any of that shit. So it is the death of trans kids and trans people broadly is a price that conservatives are willing to pay for their actual goals. But to many conservatives, the death of trans kids and adults is the point. If your kid's never saying... Yeah, sneaks away. Yeah. But the reason most kids don't talk about being trans to their parents is because they know their parents won't be supportive. So it's a self-selecting group of people who are bigoted against trans people already, and then act shocked when their kids came out as trans. So it doesn't tell us anything except that they're bigoted. It's a self-selected group that way. Yeah, exactly, Lady Ringcloud. Agreed. So we have movement, okay? We have movement on the far right. You know, we have explicit investment by far right outlets like the Daily Wire into children's programming to attack LGBTQ people and to explicitly attempt to groom kids into conservative ideologies. Okay? You have politicians like Marjorie Taylor Greene going out there and calling, Republicans, other conservatives who aren't far right enough, pedophiles. I shit you not, guys. Marjorie Taylor Greene, like a week ago, went out there and called half of all Republican politicians pedophiles. Yeah, it sneaks away. Make better comments. You're irritating me. Let's see. Oh yeah, the SCOTUS nominee, Ketanji Jackson Brown, got asked 165 times during her confirmation about child pornography, because conservatives are hell-bent. To my knowledge, Ketanji Jackson Brown is not even LGBTQ. It's just that these people are labeling all of their political adversaries, whether they're in party or out of party, as pedophiles. Because nothing matters anymore. Nothing matters anymore. But somehow Matt Gaetz gets a pass on that from her. Well, that's the thing. Camino. Republicans and conservatives don't give a shit about pedophiles. They don't. Roy Moore was literally banned from a shopping mall because he was known for sexually like assaulting and like creeping on children in the mall. There are credible allegations against him that he raped kids. They don't care. They don't care. And what we're learning is a lot of conservatives are willing to go along with this. What we're learning here, hey Jack Disco, thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate that. What we're learning is that a lot of this has to do with two things. It comes back to the culmination, the final form of Christian fascism, and it is further compounded by the QAnon movement. Okay? I know a lot of people think that QAnon, it's faded into the background, not that big of a deal anymore. I got bad news for you folks. 49% of Republicans and 52% of Trump's voting base believe that Democrats are running secret child sex trafficking rings. Over half of the conservative voter base believes that their political enemies are pedophiles. QAnon has taken over the Republican Party. I would say, well, yeah, and that's the thing. OneNote. Like, it would be funny, like, except that this is the reality that we're in, and unfortunately, the resistance against this rising tide of fascism hinges on an almost 90-year-old man who is unwilling or unable to actually get any legislation done that would boost Democrat chances in the midterms or in the next election, and is unable or unwilling to do anything that is going to tangibly help Americans or protect trans and gay people. Because I need to remind you guys, we have a bill that passed the House that would protect trans people on a federal level. We have a bill that passed the House that would make the child tax credit permanent. We have a bill that passed the House that would make give people across America free childcare. We have a bill that passed the House that would do so much goddamn good for people across the United States. And Democrats have just left it to die in the Senate. They're not doing anything about it. They're not going to pass Build Back Better. They're not going to pass the Equality Act. They're not going to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. So I don't know how legislatively we're going to fight any of this rising fascism, and that it is somewhat terrifying. That is not somewhat terrifying, it's really terrifying. I thought all those acts and bills were already dead. Well, I mean, they currently are. I'm just pointing out that they passed the House. All that they had to do was pass the Senate. Establishment Democrats, if they wanted to, at any point, leverage against the people in their party who are not currently on board with those two bills, or three bills, rather, could leverage against them to actually pass them. They could do it. They're just choosing not to. Because they don't want to make their donors mad. And that's it. Fundamentally, that's it. They're cowardly, and they care about their donors more than they care about the actual well-being of their constituents. And I need to get this straight for you guys. Democrats, by and large, as much as they will pay lip service to helping LGBTQ folks, do not give a shit if trans kids die. Unfortunately. And we know that because they could pass a bill in the Senate right now that passes the Equality Act, and they're not doing it. So, I think a lot of those those would need 60 votes unless they kill the filibuster, which is not yet able to get 50 votes. Well, yeah, forlorn. That's the thing. Republicans or Democrats have the votes. They're just not implementing the political pressure to get those votes. That's it. Weren't they? No, they weren't told that they couldn't use reconciliation on the Build Back Better plan. What establishment Democrats pushed for was, oh, we'll pass the bipartisan infrastructure bill, and then we'll pass the social spending part of the Build Back Better later. And then they never did. It was just a lie. It was just a fucking lie. And this is why, by the way, it should terrify you that the majority of conservative voters think that their political enemies are pedophiles. Because that means they can do anything and everything to you if you disagree with them. Because you're one of the pedophiles to them. No, sneaks away. They didn't have to do that. There was just an establishment Democrat coalition that came in and was just like, hey, let's pass this first, and then we can pass the social part. And then it was like Lucy with the football and Peanuts. So actual cancel culture? Cancel culture doesn't mean anything anymore. I don't know what cancel culture means. I don't know what being canceled means anymore. People say they're canceled and they actually got like an extra 70,000 people to follow them on Twitter. I don't know what it means to be canceled anymore. Like, it's like you get canceled now, you get like your own television show and $10 million. Fucking cancel me for it, please. I would love the money. Yeah, Louis C.K. masturbated in front of numerous people. He won a fucking Grammy Award, okay? Don't talk to me about how cancellation is real, okay? Like, you got what's his face? The director, the numerous directors who like raped children, and they fucking have their Oscars. Come on now. Like, cancellation isn't real. It's just people being upset that other people are upset. Roman Polanski. There we go. Thank you for that one. Kevin Spacey. There's another one. Weird aspect about that Kevin Spacey thing that you might want to look into. We're not going to cover it right now, but a lot of people have been. A lot of Kevin Spacey's accusers have been turning up dead. Real weird. Real weird. I'm not pointing fingers, but that's it's not good. I'm fair enough, but I mean, if you're labeled a pedo, it kind of removes all credibility, is what I'm saying, as far as actual cancel culture. Well, yeah, exactly. But I don't think what we're talking about when 52% of conservatives think that their political adversaries are pedos, I don't think that's cancel culture. I think that's something far, far different and more insidious. I think what we're talking about when it comes to that situation is we're talking about the justification for a rise of fascist violence. That's what we're talking about. Well, I mean, yeah, but I like, one hand wonder, I think when we're talking about the cancellation of like felons, that's less cancellation in like the social media sense and more just like a lot of places aren't willing to hire felons. I think that's a different thing. It's a different problem. And that's yes, exactly, Draco Wrath. What we're talking about here isn't, oh no, if you call if you call the Democratic people you don't like pedophiles, they'll lose their jobs. No, that's actually not what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about this escalating into something far, far different. And far more widespread and far more systemic. There are only two genders. Vixtree. Incorrect. Just empirically incorrect. You can look up, there's a really handy PBS map for children. Let's see, PBS gender map. There we go. It's from 2015, but it's still good. Here you go. If you're still present, here you go. It's a nice little map. It shows the history of different gender diverse cultures around the planet. And that's not like people making shit up. That's just actual people who've lived and had more than two genders. Look at Pro Jared. He's back doing his thing. I don't know anything about Pro Jared. Look at all the canceled people doing commentary for Fox News. Yeah. I don't know. A lot of transphobes on chat today. Hikiko Korgi, I think I got a spot on cozy.tv. I think they're hosting me there. So, yeah, they'll pop in from time to time. I hope you become less fascist. And or racist. You might be a non-racist fascist. Yeah, Boy Meets Mini. After I talked about AF Pack, they started paying attention to me. No, Sin Phoenix. I haven't been rated by DGG. We love you. Aw, thanks, Public Loser. I adore all of you too. And folks, I need to point out again that this is combined, this majority of conservative voters believing that Democrats are pedophiles is combined with the majority of conservatives believing that Joe Biden stole the 2020 election. So there is this combination of different ideas, one of which is becoming disillusioned or believing that democracy is functionally dead. And this should be really scary, because that is just priming these people for more acts of violence when they don't get their way in elections. It's priming them to support essentially attacks on the very idea of democracy itself. Why would you be pro-democracy if you are seeing it as a sham? So, I hope that modern Democrats are up to the challenge of resisting this tide, but otherwise, please, 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 as we go into the midterms and get closer to 2024 and beyond, do what you gotta do to keep yourself safe, okay? Yeah, Tucker Carlson has literally made arguments about it being time for fascism, which, ties in neatly with this. Here we go. This is a clip from Tucker Carlson's daytime television show. And let's just give it a little watch, shall we?
How is that different from vandalism? It just seems like people coming in and wrecking everything that was valuable in an institution that they never built themselves.
It's very reckless and destructive. It's very vindictive. It's very angry.
Yeah. Where does that anger come from, do you think?
I think there is just a tremendous amount of resentment and shame of non-Western peoples against Western peoples for Western peoples' outsized achievements and contributions.
Chat, that's what we call a whole lot of racism in a very short amount of time. It's like the five-finger death punch, you know, of racism. What? Oh, she's being hella racist. She's just an old lady, so like, you might not have picked up on it. It's not just sussy, chat. She's saying that non-Western people are angry at Western people for their for how many achievements the Western people have done, and the non-Western people's lack of achievements.
I mean, it's really unbearable. I was actually, leaving aside American blacks, who I think do feel that resentment and shame.
Yeah, those American blacks. Uh-huh. How deep a hole are you gonna dig for yourself here?
And envy. I mean, it's this unholy brew of sentiments. I was talking to Glenn Lowry about this bizarre fact that Asian and South Asian, Indian doctors at Penn Med, which I know people there and I know what's going on there, that they're on the ramparts for the anti-racism initiative for Dump on America. America is an evil, racist place. These are immigrants.
The number one highest income group in America.
Yeah, all those pesky non-whites advocating to make America a better place. How dare they? How dare they reach positions of influence and then advocate for America to be less racist? Jesus.
Hate America.
Right.
A goodly number of them, not all.
But you're from a group, I mean, first of all, I hate even thinking in terms of groups anyway, because what matters is the individual, obviously. But as long as we are, if you're a member of the highest income, highest achievement group in America, and you're looking down another group, native-born whites, for example, and saying you're the problem, like, how does that work exactly?
Well, that is, to me, utterly bizarre and fascinating. And
why does anybody put up with that?
Right. I'm not saying all Indian immigrants are this way. I'm just saying you look at the roster of, who's leading the programs.
Oh no, a few minorities succeeded in America. Checkmate racism.
The endless number of programs where they talk about diversity and racism and all the racism that people have to encounter in medicine and how
Damn, sounds like this lady should have gone to some of those programs.
Racist medicine is and all this. And you see these brown faces or you see these Asian faces and you think, literally you think, so you're coming from your country, which you're implying is equal or better than our country. Literally. And you're telling us how awful we are. Well, what's the explanation for that?
China's an ethno-state, by the way, which no one ever says. It's about the Han Chinese, and if you're not, that's the problem with the Uyghurs. That's their religion. They're not.
No, China's not an ethno-state. The Han Chinese are just the largest ethnic group in China. But it's one of the most diverse places on the planet. How many ethnic groups in China? There are 56 ethnic groups in China. In case you can't visualize what that looks like, here's a map that you can look at. Let's look at this map together real quick, chat. It's amazing how quick you can debunk conservative talking points. It's incredible. Look at all of these goddamn ethnic groups. Shit, man. You got the Han Chinese, you got the Hui Chinese Muslims, you got the Thai, the Tibeto Burman, you got the Mayo Yao, we got the Tajik, we got the Mon Khmer, we got the Korean, we got the Turkic, we got the Mongolian, we got the Tungusic, we got the Formosan in there as well. Damn. If only Tucker Carlson hosted the largest show on broadcast television and not a fucking stream where he could fact check himself, where he couldn't fact. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. Yeah, we know the Hmong are an ethnic group. Ashmar, why are you bringing the Hmong up? God damn it. I'm sorry if that map didn't show every single ethnic group that is currently present in China. Fuck. If only Tucker Carlson knew how to read a map. Indeed. I don't think he knows what an ethno-state is. I think Tucker Carlson literally thinks that an ethno-state is a state that has ethnicities in it. Among Us. Because they're among us. God damn it, guys. You can't stop the memes. Okay.
Han Chinese, whatever. I'm not even judging. I'm just saying people from there have no right to judge the United States.
But they very much feel that they do, and so
Tucker. They live here. Of course, they have a right to criticize it. You can criticize the place you live. They're emigrating to the United States or coming here for school, and then they live here. Like, yeah, you can work to make the place you live a better place. That's fine. Wouldn't that make every country an ethno-state? Antarctica, checkmate, atheists. Oh God, the rise of fascism in the United States. It's such a slow, stupid process.